Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here at the Mobile Theatre. My name's Matt. I'm going to be hosting the sessions for you today and throughout the afternoon. I don't work for the Digital Marketing Show. I work for a company called Sitecore. We're sponsoring this theatre. We also have a rather unassuming stand just behind you, so if you'd like to know more about us, please wander over, say hello, get yourself a free yo-yo. Next up this morning, we have Julian Smith. Julian's Head of Strategy and Innovation at the mobile marketing agency Fetch. And Julian's going to be talking to us about integrating mobile into the marketing mix. So please welcome Julian, and over to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my name's Julian Smith. I'm, as Matt just said, Head of Strategy and Innovation at Fetch. If you've got an old agenda, you might see somebody else's name on there. I'm not Chris Gorrell-Brown from Adjust Your Set, so I'm a late replacement. But what I want to do is talk to you quickly about how to integrate mobile into the marketing mix. I want to talk to you about why marketers increasingly need to be integrating mobile, what the options are for integrating mobile, and then how marketers can go about it, what the kind of key steps are. So the first kind of thing to say, which I'm sure many of you are aware already, is that the smartphone majority has now arrived in the UK, which means that now about 72% of the adult population in the UK has a smartphone. So really, if you think about target audiences that you're looking to reach through marketing communications, pretty much all of them come with smartphone attached nowadays. If you look at the 89% of 25 to 34-year-olds, so that younger adult population, almost everybody has a smartphone. And they have a smartphone before any other digital device as well. More likely to have a smartphone than a laptop, a desktop, or a tablet. So everybody comes with smartphone attached nowadays. And the smartphone is our constant companion, and it's this multifunctionality that really has made it a game changer. If you think about your own usage of smartphones, it's everything for you. It's not only your phone, it's your maps, satellite navigation, it's your diary organizer, your camera, your social network, your TV, your games console, increasingly your digital wallet. Often for many people it's an alarm clock and a calculator. So it's that multifunctional device that we can't leave home without now. It's constantly on us all the time. And this has been a real game changer from a consumer perspective, and also a game changer from a marketing perspective in terms of what we can now do and deliver through the channel for things like customer acquisition and customer retention. So everybody has a phone, everybody has a smart device with them, and it's given us more and more opportunities for targeting consumers. Alongside smartphones, we've seen this rapid growth in tablets as well. So everybody has a smartphone now, and increasingly more and more of the UK population owns a tablet. We're seeing now it's about a third of the UK population now uses tablets, and it's expected to grow from about 20 million in 2013 up to about almost 35 million. So pretty much about 50% of the UK population by 2017 will have a tablet as well. So what that is really creating is this idea of multi-screen audiences. What we're seeing now, if you think about your own consumption, whether at home or on the go, you're surrounded by and using multiple screens. So at home now, when we're watching TV of an evening, we're likely to have a smartphone or a tablet alongside us, and we'll be doing second screen kind of behavior. When we're on the go, we've always got our smartphone in our pocket. We're always there, being able to use it for all those different features and functionalities of our handset. So we're now having to address this multi-screen audience all the time, and we always need to bear that in mind when we're thinking about our marketing communications. And it's the multi-screen audience is now kind of shifting behaviours throughout the day. There's this real growing habit now of in the morning, the mobile phone, the smartphone being our primary device when we get up, when we're commuting, when we're kind of getting things done, emailing, communicating. So mobile often starts in the early morning as being the primary screen that we're looking at. Throughout the kind of course of the day, it might then move on to the online desktop, to your laptop or your work computer. And then the evening is really when the tablet takes over. We're seeing this real adoption of tablet as the first screen of the evening, or second screen alongside TV. And there's this growing habit of, as I said, sort of second screening. So we're all growing now into this multi-screen audience who are happily shifting our digital media consumption from one channel to another, from one device, one screen to another. And as we do that, as consumers, we're expecting an increasingly seamless experience across those screens, across those channels, from the brands and the businesses that we want to be interacting with. So this has become a bit of an imperative, really, from marketing perspective. We've got to recognise this. We've got to recognise what this means for marketing. And a really interesting data here is looking at how much time spent with mobile is growing on a daily basis. Now, this is data from eMarketer, and it's US adults, but I think it's fairly reflective of UK adults in Western European and developed markets. But what you see there, in 2010, 3.6% of the day was spent in a mobile. This is time spent per day with major media. In 2010, it was 3.6%. In the space of only 3 years, by 2013, that's now become almost 20%. So almost 20% of our time spent with media per day is now spent with mobile channels, mobile non-voice channels. And you see, and it's really helped grow the overall percentage of time spent with digital media. So again, back in 2010, digital media as a percentage of total media was about 30%. Now in 2013, digital media as a percentage of total media is up to about 44%. So digital media is growing and growing. And the black bar there is TV. And you can see that over the space of the last couple of years, digital media, and particularly mobile, is increasingly taking over from TV in terms of our daily media consumption. So that's quite dramatic change from our audience, from our consumers. The pace of change has been rapid, and I think that kind of quite nicely reflects how quickly things have changed in terms of our media consumption and where audiences' attention now is. And again, this is the imperative why it's increasingly important that we need to be thinking about mobile, how we integrate it into the mix. So I think that's a very compelling sort of data chart. So really, the imperative is that mobile can no longer be seen as an afterthought or just an add-on. You know, I think over the last few years, marketers have been planning out their multi-channel marketing strategy. They're thinking of their TV, radio, print press, all that out of home, and then think, oh, right, okay, maybe mobile. And really now, you know, we can't think of it as an afterthought. It really has to be integral. So if we think about our audiences, as I mentioned earlier, they're all coming with smartphone attached, constantly on us all the time, our multifunctional device that we can't live without. We have this fear of losing our mobiles, this nomophobia thing. You know, so if you think about all your audiences, whether you're targeting them through any of the traditional channels or out of home as well, on the go, at point of sale in retail, they're always there with a smartphone. So smartphone and mobile needs to be, you know, integral and thought of at first for whatever form of marketing communication you're doing, above the line, below the line, sales promotion, brand building, direct response, whatever your kind of marketing objectives might be, you've got to be thinking, how do we integrate the mobile channel into the mix? I want to show you a number of examples of what options you have or what you should be doing to integrate it. The first thing I think marketers need to be doing now is really thinking about how they integrate the mobile ecosystem alongside the desktop ecosystem. So most brands and businesses now will have a well-established website. They'll have a social network page. You've probably got a Facebook page, Twitter page. You might have email communications, an eCRM program to kind of contact your customers. You'll be optimized through the search channel. This is if you're a good advanced level digital marketer. You'll be doing some online advertising, again, dependent on your business. You now need to really think about how that works in the mobile channels. So what's your mobile optimized website experience? What apps could you now create with the opportunity of apps? What messaging could you deliver through those apps, through push notifications or SMS, things like that? How do you optimize your search marketing for mobile? How do you optimize your online advertising for the mobile screen, as the previous presenter showed us some examples? So really now, what all marketers need to be doing in this new world of mobile to really integrate is to really focus on creating this multi-channel digital ecosystem that when a consumer accesses your brand or your business through any of the screens, they're going to get a consistent experience, a joined-up experience that is seamless and that also helps drive them through the path to purchase, from awareness building through to conversion through to loyalty. So, you know, an imperative now for marketers is to think about how you really integrate the desktop and mobile. And I've had a long history in online advertising. It's only recently I've started talking about desktop, but now there is this difference between desktop and mobile, but it's about integrating the two. So that's kind of a priority thing. And then thinking about all the other kind of advertising channels you're using, what can you do? Mobile can be integrated, for example, with TV. So increasingly we're seeing more and more mobile video consumption, more digital video consumption happening via a mobile device, both smartphone and tablet. We're spending a lot more time watching a lot more video through these mobile devices. And it's not just short form that you might think, 2, 3, 4 minute sort of YouTube clips. It's also long form. We're watching 30-minute, 60-minute programs through these small screens, both at home alongside the TV, or in our bedroom, or on our commute to work. So there's more opportunities to extend your TV advertising, extend the reach and frequency of your TV advertising through mobile channels, whether that's through the mobile versions of ITV Player and all the video-on-demand platforms like 4OD, whether it's YouTube. YouTube is the most popular video platform accessed via a mobile device. I think it's about 30 to 40% of all YouTube's audience now accesses via mobile. And increasingly rich media ad formats as well. So you can be incorporating rich media ad formats through ad networks like Yumi and Vungle, those kind of guys, to extending your TV. So that's one way you can integrate with TV. Another way is thinking about that idea that we're increasingly second screening, that whilst we're watching TV of an evening, we're more than likely to have a tablet lying beside us or a smartphone. We're interacting. So we're seeing more brands trying to incorporate a kind of second screen call to action, if you like, particularly with the likes of Twitter. So we're seeing this idea of social TV, people tweeting about the show they're watching, if it's like reality TV, if it's X Factor or Great British Bake Off, people will be tweeting about it live there. So there's more and more of that kind of second screening, call to action with hashtag. There's new technologies like Shazam that's enabling that kind of audio tagging. So, you know, you've seen those ads now where it says, get your phone out, and if you've got Shazam downloaded, it can connect and offer you a second screen experience. And then there's QR codes. I hope there's nobody from Waitrose here, but I don't think QR codes is the way forward for TV advertising. This is an example not to be recommended. People think you'll hear about QR codes, and most examples you hear about are poor examples. There's few good examples of QR codes, but QR codes isn't the way to build mobile integration with your TV. But things like Shazam, those audio signals, audio tagging is an interesting approach. So there's opportunities there. And I wanted to show you an example of a Shazam sort of second screening opportunity to show you really some innovative use of delivering integration between mobile and TV.
Get more exclusive POV videos when you see the Shazam button during Red Bull Signature Series on NBC. Use the Shazam app on your smartphone to experience what the run looks like from the rider's point of view. Watch Supernatural on 2 screens and collect 4 different runs during the show by Travis Rice, Gigi Ruff, Terry A. Hawkinson, and John Jackson.
So you can see there a really nice creative use of the kind of second screen, recognizing that audiences are there, watching TV with their smartphone, and delivering kind of exclusive content to the second screen as well, alongside the broadcast content, offering something more exclusive, a different view, a different angle on the thing, something to really sort of more deeply engage your audience with that television content. It's a great example. So mobile can be integrated with TV. It can also increasingly be integrated with radio now. There's more and more consumers, actually, the traditional radio audiences are declining as the younger audience increasingly download apps like Pandora, Spotify, Bloom FM, and listen to music in a different way, listen to music, audio broadcast music through their handsets, their smartphones on the go. So when you're thinking about radio advertising or audio advertising, think about the opportunities now that are emerging in those platforms like Pandora, for example. Tanqueray Gin did a really nice sort of sponsorship of Pandora, where there was an audio ad in there and some branding and sponsorship as well. So that's kind of taking radio to the next level, if you like. And also with traditional radio now, I mentioned Shazam, but there's other technology providers out there that all recognize audio signals, such as Sonic Notify, Chirpio, Untap TV. All this technology delivers a kind of audio signal that can't be heard to the human ear, but can be detected by your phone and can open an app content experience alongside that audio signal. So, interesting new opportunities to integrate mobile with radio, which is really just emerging in kind of early days. Topshop did a nice work with Chirpio. So mobile can be integrated with radio. We're seeing a lot of this, how mobile can be integrated with print. So again, using your smartphone, you're reading your magazine, you're reading your newspaper. Now through things like augmented reality, you can add an extra layer of content over the printed layer. You can add a layer of video or something that's augmented reality to give that extra dimension. Also can be a nice call to action. It can drive people to consumption. So it could be a buy now overlay on top of a print ad to drive audiences through to a purchase. A great example of using augmented reality would be IKEA. And if you've seen the latest IKEA catalogue for 2014, it's got augmented reality built in. You download the IKEA app, you put it over the catalogue, and it gives you an extra layer of content. You can also then take that app and look at your room, your bedroom, or wherever you want your new piece of furniture go in, and overlay furniture onto your real home space. So really interesting use. But print is, we're seeing more and more examples of how mobile and print are being integrated. And I want to show you a really very creative example of Lexus, the car brand, who had a print ad, had a iPad app, and they've basically converged the two together to create a new experience. So that's the print ad, that's the iPad ad. So I thought that was a great piece of creativity. I mean, they both worked standalone. The print ad worked on its own. The iPad experience worked on its own, but together, combined, was really kind of added an extra dimension. Also, we're increasingly seeing mobile being integrated with out of home. You think about all of us as we walk around the streets, we've all got this very sophisticated smart device in our pockets. So there's lots more opportunities now to interact with stuff that we see around us in the real world. Out-of-home advertising, for example, such as downloading the trailer for the movie via NFC by just tapping on that billboard, downloading it to your phone to be able to take that piece of content away with you. NFC battling currently with, there's iBeacons coming out as well next year, which can be an interesting sort of battle of who wins NFC versus iBeacon. But that idea about micro-targeting, very geo-targeted delivery of content by being close in the vicinity of. Also, we're seeing kind of mobile interaction with digital out-of-home as well. So this example on the right is McDonald's, where it's a game of ping pong, and if you had the app downloaded, you could literally interact with the billboard on the street and play ping pong with it. So great way of engaging an audience as they're passing by. Really good example of this, I don't know if you've seen this one, was from the Compassionate Farming, who wanted to talk about how pigs should be reared compassionately. They wanted to get this message across. They wanted to create something really engaging. So they created this digital billboard in Westfield Shopping Centre where people walking past could literally interact with the billboard and then that in real life threw an apple at a pig on a field in the middle of the countryside. I'll show you.
I was a flower growing wild and free, all I'd want is you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree growing tall and green, all I'd want is you to shade me and be my leaves. If you were a river in the mountains tall, the rumble of your water would be my call. If you were the winter, I know I'd be the snow, just as long as you're with me when the cold winds blow. All I want is you, will you be my bride? Take me by the hand and stand by my side. All I want is you, will you stay with me? Hold me in your arms and sway me like the sea. If you were a wink, I'd be a nod. If you were a seed, well, I'd be a pod. If you were a floor, I'd wanna be the rug. And if you were a kiss, I know I'd be a hug. All I want is you.
This is guys in Westfield Shopping Centre feeding apples to pigs out in the countryside via a digital billboard.
Hold me in your arms and sway me like the sea. If you were the wood, I'd be the fire. If you were the love, I'd be the desire. If you were a vessel, I'd be your mood. And if you were an ocean, I'd learn to float. All I want is you, will you be my bride? Take me by the hand and stand by my side. All I want is you, will you stay with me? Hold me in your arms and sway me like a sea.
Oh, he's crazy. That's brilliant.
So great. So hopefully you saw that's a really very creative way of integrating mobile, out-of-home advertising, real-life event. So talking about real-life events, yeah, so increasingly, again, mobile can be integrated with live events. We're seeing more and more of this at concerts, at sports arenas, venues, an accompanying app, an app that enables you to have more content, to engage more deeply with what you're seeing in the live show. So, for example, Glastonbury, the BBC created a great app for the Glastonbury Festival where the festival goer could find out more about the acts, delivered directly, personally to their handset. Lady Gaga incorporated Sonic Notify to enable the app to open up and deliver exclusive content. Things like Untapped TV enabling you to sing along with the lyrics of the song that's live on stage at the time, to be able to adjust the lighting of the stage via multiple people with their handsets operating something. So lots of interesting opportunities to integrate mobile at live events. Integrating mobile at point of sale as well. All retailers now are thinking about omni-channel experiences. How do they engage with the shopper before the store, in the store, after the store, through the mobile channel, leveraging things like mobile wallets, mobile payments, mobile loyalty cards. So we're seeing more mobile digital shopper marketing emerging. We're seeing more mobile integrated at point of sale. So, for example, Guinness has NFC-enabled some beer fonts in pubs around the UK and Ireland. So if you go in there, you've got the app, you tap on that font, and it's like a loyalty thing. You know, although you can only tap once per evening, I believe, on one smartphone. But you can gather loyalty points to deliver exclusive Guinness content and loyalty engagement. So point of sale is being mobile-enabled. And then product and packaging is also being mobile enabled, adding an extra layer of content and an extra dimension to the actual physical product, to the bottle, whether it's the beer bottle in the Heineken example, where the more you scan that bottle, the more content is unlocked into your handset to give you a deeper experience. Or if you scan over your Heinz Tomato Ketchup bottle and it delivers you special recipes using Heinz Ketchup to your handset, an augmented reality experience that's overlaid onto the actual product itself. So hopefully, though, I've shown you lots of different examples of how mobile can be integrated into whatever channel you use for marketing communications, whatever type of business you may be. But what are the steps that marketers should take to actually make it happen? The first step is really obviously understanding the consumer. It has to be consumer-centric. You need to understand the consumer. We recognise now that most of us come with smartphone, but what level of adoption, what type of adoption is there? What type of handsets are our consumers using, our target audiences? What frequency of access do they have? How often do they use their phone? And where do they use their phone? Do they use it, all day, on the go, out and about? We need to understand that. Forrester recently came up with this great concept of the mobile mind shift index, which basically was a way of segmenting people into different stages of mobile development. So maybe think about it in this perspective. Are your audiences in the unshifted segments who are kind of have a low mobile mind shift index, or are they in the already shifted segment? So, you think about your young early adopter audience. They're going to be up in the kind of perpetuals or the immersers who literally spend all day, every day on their handsets. They have every type of app downloaded. It's great Forrester research, but it's a way of thinking about your audience. How do you segment them? How do you understand them in order to be able to deliver the right kind of mobile message depending on what level of mobile mind shift they've taken? So think about your target audience is an obvious one. Then think about the path to purchase and what role mobile can play along the path to purchase. Depending, if you're a .com business, if you're a high street business, if you're both an online and offline business, if you're a low consideration product, if you're a high consideration product, there are opportunities for mobile to fit into the path to purchase. It could be about opportunities to build awareness through mobile advertising at the top of the funnel. It could be about converting m-commerce if you're actually selling stuff via the mobile channel, and it's particularly good for loyalty as well. Apps are great potential for loyalty. So think about where mobile can fit in, what role it can play in achieving your marketing communication objectives. And then I would say this, wouldn't I? I'm being from a mobile marketing expert agency, but basically you need mobile experts in a multidisciplinary team. So if you're a client and you have your traditional agencies surrounding you, you have your creative agency, your media agency, your digital agency, your PR agency, your sales promotional shopper marketing agency, you need to have some mobile specialist in the room as well. You need to be somebody who's championing mobile, who's really saying, don't forget mobile first. Mobile has to have an equal level, if not, be thinking mobile first, because that's where the consumers are going. So depending on what kind of business you're at, you need to be talking to mobile experts. And finally, you need to act now, because this is a rapidly evolving landscape. It's changing all the time. There was a survey done recently asking marketers to what extent they thought that the pace of marketing had changed more in the last 2 years than it had in the last 50, and 76% agreed. So the pace of change is rapid. Consumers are way ahead of marketers. They're just running off with all this technology. Who'd have thought Snapchat, we'd all be talking about Snapchat today. About 18 months ago, it didn't even exist. And now there's hundreds of millions of people on Snapchat. Have we got a strategy for that? Have we got a strategy for Instagram, Vine, all these different mobile platforms? What's our App Store optimization strategy? Have we thought about that? Anyway, the pace of change is rapid. You need to act now. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. We do have a couple of minutes, so if anybody has any questions, please put your hand up. There's one in the back.
Hi, Julian.
Hi.
You talked about NFC, so I just wondered about iBeacons and how you see that just panning out, really.
Yeah, interesting one. It's the big topic of conversation at the moment. I think iBeacons are going to come into play next year. I think they're going to be a real opportunity for retailers or inside experiences. I think we're likely to see retailers adopt them first and then linking them up with apps so that you get that kind of push notification depending on where you are in the building. I think next year will be trial and experimentation with iBeacons before it goes mainstream. In the meantime, NFC, there's people have staked a lot of money on NFC and it's working for many businesses. So I think for the time being they'll be both alongside each other, and I think they'll play different roles as well. I think for me, NFC is much more of a kind of, much more proactive thing where you literally go and tap something. As a consumer, you have to go forward and tap your phone onto something to make something happen. So it's very much a kind of consumer-driven thing. iBeacons are going to be more driven through push notifications, which are going to have to be very carefully kind of delivered to not piss people off, basically. So iBeacon is really interesting. I think next year we'll see it emerging. But how it's used, I think the retailers will be the first to kind of experiment and use it. But there'll be trial and error. They're going to have to learn along the way to get it just right in terms of you know, in being able to pinpoint people in the right place for a start, and then deliver them the right message in the right place at the right time, and all that, you know, classic kind of marketing. But interesting, it's going to be interesting space.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, well, Julian will be hanging around for a few minutes, so if you do want to ask him anything, please just come up. And once again, thank you very much. Thanks, Julian.
You.